We've applied the cold mold seal and now it has dried. We check on the surface. It shouldn't be tacky, shouldn't be sticky. It's all dried now. The next step is packing of acrylic. For this, we need certain materials, which is we need to have a heat cure liquid, heat cure powder. Then we need to have a heat cure liquid also. Make sure that the heat cure, the liquid is same as heat cure. It shouldn't be of a self-cure liquid because that will hinder in the polymerization. The quantity of mixing of heat cure acrylic is that we use 3 parts of powder and 1 part of liquid. And we'll pour the liquid first in a ceramic cup, and then we'll start pouring in powder so that all the particles of acrylic start to get mixed together in the acrylic properly. And then we'll leave it there till we go through the whole process of the polymerization process, which is number 1 is the sandy stage, number 2 is the stringy stage, then it's the dough stage, and then it's the rubbery stage, and then it's the stiff and the plastic stage. Now I've poured this cup of monomer liquid. I'll pour it inside here. Next, I'll be adding powder. And I'll mix powder inside. Start mixing. 1 part, 2 parts, 3 parts. So after we've poured in powder, we'll keep on mixing. Keep on mixing till we reach a stage that we don't feel any clumps of acrylic inside. It's a thorough mix. Now, please keep in mind that this is not the stage on which we are going to pack acrylic, because at this stage, this is the sandy stage. And depending on the temperature, the room temperature, depending on the environment, and also the amount of liquid and powder ratio, this time differs. Now, in order to proceed for the process of polymerization, I'll place a glass slab or cover the cup up for a while, and then I'll check after some times that is the stage processed further to the doughy stage or not. Now at this stage, I've left it a while. You can see that this is now in a stringy stage. I'll show you. If it's visible, can you see the strings forming? These are the string. This is the stringy stage. So this is the stringy stage. If you can see, it's still sticking to my gloves and to my hands also. And you can see long threads. So this is not an ideal stage for packing of acrylic. We'll wait for a little bit longer. But please make sure that when you are waiting for acrylic to go to the dough stage, it comes in quickly. So when we start packing of acrylic and manipulation of acrylic, and we know that it's now reached that stage, you need to wet your hands so that it doesn't stick to your hands also. We manipulate, we open it up, and we see that now it's not sticking to my hands. There are no strings forming. So this is a very crucial stage that we must be quick in it, and we must pack. So this is going to be the trial packing stage. We'll place acrylic here in the upper chamber, and then we'll place a wet cellophane sheet, and we'll place it over the flask. Now we'll place it in the press. Slowly, we'll start increasing the pressure. We start increasing the pressure slowly, and we'll see that acrylic is oozing out. But we are supposed to keep going for this pressing. We're not going to be abrupt, and we're not going to exert a lot of pressure. So once we know that some adequate amount of acrylic has flown out, we'll open it up again. So this is acrylic flash. We'll take it out, open up, and we'll assess. All of this is acrylic flash. So we'll cut out this portion. This is all excess acrylic. We don't need this. Please keep sure that once you know that there are some voids like in this interior portion, we'll pack slightly more acrylic and do the acrylic packing again. Now we'll add a little bit acrylic here. Place this chamber again on this flask till we get a proper flow of acrylic material is properly flowed in. And we'll do this process again and again till we get a proper placed mixture. After taking out the flask from the press, we open it up and we examine, are there any voids present? And if there are any voids, we fill it up again with acrylic. But if it is satisfactory, we then remove the cellophane sheet and then we proceed further of removing the excess acrylic flash. After removing the cellophane sheet, this is how the mixed acrylic or the packed acrylic is supposed to look like. We'll make sure that we remove the excess acrylic, which is called the acrylic flash, before we finalize the placement of the second chamber of the flask and we pack it in the press. Similar image of the lower cast excess acrylic is being removed, which is also called as acrylic flash. We'll make sure that we remove from the areas which are beyond the margins of the base plate. So this is the final picture. You must note that the acrylic is properly in its place and there is no excess acrylic that has been removed adequately. Flask is placed back in the press without the cellophane sheet and it is compressed to a maximum pressure, but it is made sure that abrupt pressure is not applied. After leaving the flask in its press or in the flask's own press, it is left there to cure, or which is also called as bench curing. Please make sure that you don't place the flask in water immediately, but you must give some time so that the acrylic which is flown out of the flask gives an indication that there has been some sort of bench curing or the acrylic has reached the stiff stage.